into the 2018 Greyhound Racing New Zealand Awards dinner. As you can see, we're at the stunning venue, the Atrium at Wintec here in Hamilton, and behind me, everybody's gearing up for an exciting night. It's a night where we'll reflect and reminisce on the season that was and reward excellence. Join myself and everyone else here for the 2017-18 Greyhound Awards dinner. And now we move into the part of the evening you are all looking forward to, where we recognise and honour the greyhounds and people that have had amazing achievements during the 2017 and 18 season. Ladies and gentlemen, the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Greyhound Sprinter of the Year is Wheelchair Norm.
There goes Wheelchair Norm. He's 6 in front, and he'll beat Flippity Jibbity Sarcasm Rocket.
Norm will be the most special dog we've had in our kennel, and he has a good following. Dunedin and the Cargill people love him, and we love him. Very hard not to take the dog to the track. If I left him at home, the kids would complain because he cried all day. So sometimes we just take him to the track for a ride, and it's quite a long way to Cargill and Dunedin. But that's the type of dog he is. He just loves racing. When he got lost a bit of his tail towards the end of his career. We tried him a couple of times, but he wasn't at his best. So he wasn't hurt, just lost a wee bit of confidence. We lost a bit of his tail. And to race that many times and stay as sound as he was, it's a credit to my son, Johnny, and all my staff for checking him. That's the big routine we have at home. Some people don't check their dogs. Our dogs get checked after every race and before the next race, and they work on them all week. And a dog like Norm at his age, initially we were racing him twice a week over the short, and he could win over the 450, but we slackened off towards the end of his career, and we tried to get the 100. It's only a number, but it would have been good. And as I say, dogs like Norm don't come around often, and we're fortunate. We've had a few good short course dogs, but he's by far the best. And I know a lot of people don't like breeding from short course dogs, but he'll get a couple of bitches. And then Mark Bell wants him home as a pet, so he'll be on the plane to Australia, but we'll draw a few straws off and send him home. So it's a sad day when we retired him, but we retired him safe and sound, and he'll go home safe and sound. So. Thank you everybody, and thanks Mark Bell and all my team at home. The end of a good career. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Middle Distance Greyhound of the Year winner is Big Time Paddy.
Off the top, coming fair flying, Big Time Paddy off the top. Into the race comes a little Borg, up they come, Big Time Paddy, Christie inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Distance Greyhound of the Year is Ring the Bell.
To be classed as the trainer of Ring the Bell, I really technically was only the caretaker trainer. He was already made. He was a professional. He knew what was required. You didn't have to do much with him as long as you didn't interrupt his preparation. I did it once, and I had to apologise to the owners. I put him in a 5:20 races that lead up, and he ran absolutely terrible. And I couldn't get on the phone quick enough to apologise to the owners. It was my fault, and you learn from your faults. But I must say I'm very fortunate that Glenn Pask and the four frothies, they call themselves. You can imagine what that means. They had faith in me, and they left the dog with me. But the dog taught me a lot rather than I taught the dog. It's as simple as that. My first dog was a distance dog, and I took it to Wairarapa. I'd never travelled before. This was my first dog. Well, it was the the race was it was called a marathon. It was either 1180 or 1200 metres or something like that. But I knew I had a stayer. So she had box 2. It was a long way for a fella to go. And the lids came up, all you could see was a tail. Oh my God. So Wairarapa didn't have 2 straights and 2 bends. It was like the Gabba, it had several little bends. Well, away she went and chased the field. She stopped about halfway around on the first round and had a look to see where they went. Oh, so she carried on. Next time around, it was twice around from the 500 boxes. She stopped again and had a look to see where they were. You know, she beat 2 dogs home. So I left her behind with George Alford, and she won the feature distance at Hutt Park and track record time, so that was lucky. But that was my first dog, and I just love training stayers. There's something about them. And Disco really rewarded both me and Glenn and the Bull Frothies. He was just the ultimate race dog. Thanks very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the New Zealand bred Greyhound of the Year is Big Time Paddy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Dam of the Year is Allegro Star.
Into the straight comes Allegro Star. Scabbers right away here, giving chase. Waterbug and Rosemore lost there right down the outside. Late Inazuma to the line. Allegro Star well from Waterbug. Allegro Star first up in this country.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Sire of the Year is Yellow Mustard.
One dog affair, Yellow Mustard runs away to win the Group 2, and Yellow Mustard by 7 lengths. A good finish.
This is a real privilege, really, to accept this award on behalf of Yellow Mustard and John Trow. 8 years ago, Bundy, who we know him as, come home to us via Jack, who was helping Jean and Dave Fahey, and he fell in love with the dog. So he came home as a pet, but he also had the credentials of being a good stud dog. Well, we thought he'd be a good stud dog. So I'd like to thank Gary and Gayleen, who really gave him his start. And they had a cracking litter with no witch, and it sort of rolled on from there. So thanks, Gary and Gayleen. The Evanses, Andy and Janine, they've been caretaker, lookers after of him for a while. We've been overseas, and Lisa Grant, Mel, you know, they've used him multiple times with success. So, lovely dog, great temperament. Yeah, that's about it really. He's just an awesome pet, awesome dog, and a good, honest dog. So, yeah, thanks very much. Cheers.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Trainer of the Year is Lisa Cole. This year, ladies and gentlemen, the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Strike Rate Trainer of the Year is Karen Walsh.
Achieving this award reminds me of how lucky I am. Lucky to have owners and friends that help and support me and put up with me. I am aware that this can be challenging. Lucky to work with such wonderful dogs every day, and lucky to be surrounded by a dedicated team in Sophie, Taylor and Greg, who go above and beyond to care for our dogs as though they were their own personal pets. I'd like to congratulate also all the other award winners and wish everyone well for the next season. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Greyhound Racing New Zealand 2017-18 New Zealand Breeder of the Year is Brendan and Lisa Cole. Speak to any Greyhound participant about greyhounds, and their love for these canine athletes strongly shines through. Greyhounds are more than just a racing proposition, and they make the transition from the racetrack to life on the couch, like we've heard tonight, with total ease. Not only are they loyal, but they are also lifelong friends. Greyhound Racing New Zealand acknowledges the extreme efforts that industry participants go to in taking care of their greyhounds through their racing careers to the ultimate, a loving and caring home. Love Our Dogs is an award that reflects those efforts. The nomination of Karen Walsh for this award makes for compelling reading. Comments in it rightfully acknowledge that she is more than a successful greyhound trainer. She is described as a lover of the greyhounds, and the dogs themselves are her family. Karen is adamant that every greyhound deserves a life after a racing career, and has nursed many an injured dog back to good health so that they can be rehomed. Not only does Karen meticulously stick to those ethics, but she frequently looks after other trainers' greyhounds who have been operated on by the renowned Matamata greyhound vet Steve McGill. Many a greyhound has fully recuperated in her Te Rā kennels prior to being returned to their respective trainers. The love of the greyhound displayed by Karen Walsh can never be disputed. Ladies and gentlemen, the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Love Our Dogs Award winner is Karen Walsh.
Awkward. I've prepared nothing. Honestly, I feel there are so many people that are far more deserving of this award than me. The people that have given their time to adopt out our lovely dogs, Mayhounds and Night Rave and all the other organisations like them. You know, we can't thank them enough for everything that they've done, and they really deserve this award. Thank you.
It's the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Youth Award. Of course, young people coming through any industry is so important. And so I applaud Greyhound Racing New Zealand for this initiative. They are the future of the sport, the youth. Check out any race meeting or trial day at the Addington Raceway, and race handler Mark Lynn will be sighted with a collar and a lead hanging around his neck. He is mainly seen handling for Jean and Dave Fahey trained greyhounds. However, if other trainers require a hand to box away or to catch a greyhound, Mark Lynn is frequently the first person they turn to. It is easy to see the affinity and rapport he has with greyhounds just by watching him. Mark is actively involved in rehoming former chasers, and he lives with a number of retired greyhounds. He's also successfully turned his hand to breeding litters. Translator, Marzu, Minho, Draxler and Ikali are just some of the dogs he has bred and raced. Says Dave Fahey, Mark has been involved in our kennels for around 8 or so years, and he has been a great asset to us. Over that time, he has always been keen to learn. He never complains. He just gets stuck into his work. We can go away knowing that Mark will do everything required around the kennels. He is a fantastic all-round industry participant. Ladies and gentlemen, the inaugural Greyhound Racing New Zealand Youth Award, that goes to Mark Lynn.
On behalf of Mark, he said he would like to thank a lot of people. He would like to congratulate all the other nominees. He said it's a privilege to win this award over the other contenders who have had very good seasons. He's got so many people to thank, and he hopes he doesn't miss anyone out. Firstly, I would like to thank Dave, Jean, Anthony and Sarah Fahey for rearing and training my dogs down south. Everyone behind the scenes at Jean and Dave's, they always do a great job. Thanks to Opawa for travelling my dogs up and down the country. Thanks to Jeff and Glenys Farrell, Sade Hunt, Raywin McPhee, Sarah and Dave Voice for training my dogs up north, and thanks to Bruce Stan and Cullen Weir for breaking my dogs in for me. He would like to thank Ray Amer for giving him Heidi, which is Delusionist. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be receiving this award. I would like to thank Elizabeth Whelan for nominating me for this award. Lastly, thanks to everyone who has ever helped me and all my dogs. It's been much appreciated. I hope everyone has a good night. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me so much pleasure to say this year the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Advocate of the Year is Mark Rosanowski.
I want to acknowledge two people who I believe are very close to this award. Elizabeth Whelan, who's now working for Country Racing Victoria, and she's doing some really good work in television, radio and print, and she finished a Trackside in January, and it was a great shame to lose her because she was doing some tremendous work for Greyhound Racing. But however, she's in an office I reckon like the best placed office ever. It's at the top of the Straight 6 at Flemington. Looks straight down the Flemington Straight. It's I haven't been there in a working capacity, but I'm sure it's one of the best offices you could imagine for somebody who's interested in racing. And it was a pleasure to work with Elizabeth in the time that I did on Dog Zone and presenting Greyhound Racing at some Group 1 meetings, etc. The other is Andy McCook. Shy retiring fella here in the white shirt, and I'm really enjoying working with Andy to this point. I love the work that Andy does in terms of being an analyst and his race commentaries, which I think are going to develop to something tremendous over the years. We also have Philippa Morris, who's joined the Trackside team, and many of you here will know Philippa. And what we've learned in the past is that we can make people who are passionate about racing into good racing broadcasters, and we can't do the reverse. We can't make a broadcaster love racing or love Greyhound racing. And Philippa, like Andy, has lots of hands-on experience, and they're honing their craft as broadcasters, and I think they're going to be tremendous for the sport over the years to come. And there's a couple of producers over here, table I'm sitting on, Ben Rogers and Patrick Chappell. Now, both young, fine, upstanding men most of the time, and Ben has been directing Dog Zone. He's going to be stepping away for the new season of Dog Zone, but he'll probably be directing us, which will be outstanding. He's still working within Trackside, and Patrick, who's been sort of Ben's backup, is taking over, and it's been tremendous working with those two gentlemen as well. Now, what's disappointing for me about all this is the people I've just been speaking about, I'm old enough to be their father. But the good thing for you as Greyhound racing enthusiasts, that I hope you still are after all the time and effort that you put into the game, and I know it can be tough at times, is that these people will sell your sport and be great advocates for your sport for the next 30 years, I hope. They seem to have the passion that I can recall having 35 years ago when I had that ridiculous perm, which is not coming back because I just can't grow my hair long enough anymore, I'm sorry. And two other gentlemen I should acknowledge while I'm here, of the older brigade but young at heart, my father Peter Rosanowski, who will long remain till the day he dies a loyal advocate of Greyhound racing, and Peter Fenimore, who does just a heap of work for Greyhound racing, who's just always dug deep and provided me with statistics, and if I've needed to know anything, Peter's been there. He's texted me numerous times and made me look good on air by providing some statistics, etc. And probably if it wasn't for the pressings of Peter and Peter, I might not have made it here tonight, but I'm glad I have. And to all of you who have put the Greyhounds out there that I get to commentate and that I get to talk about, and yeah, they make fools of me time and time again, but that's just all part of it. Thank you for the hard work that you guys put in, guys and girls. I have dabbled in a bit of training, breeding, and certainly ownership. Well, the ownership side's easy. The rest of it's really hard work, and you guys get out there and you do it day after day, and Christmas Day is the same as any other day. Your dogs need feeding, they need exercise, and you put them out, they perform to the level they do. And I salute you for doing that to make my job so easy in talking about it. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Club of the Year winner is the Christchurch Greyhound Racing Club.
Actually, before I start, I'm going to knock Mark down a peg or two and just remind him that he hasn't paid his subs. And it is a surprise because I have no idea who nominated us for this award, and I'm still not sure that whoever nominated us isn't taking the piss. Yeah, look, in our industry, the clubs do a hell of a good job. We haven't got a lot of clubs, and we've got even less venues. And I think that is actually a strategic advantage that the Greyhounds have over the two equine codes. And I don't, we put on a hell of a lot of races, and we do it efficiently, we do it on time. We are a little bit like the casino. The races are quick. As I said, they're on time, and I think we are the envy of those two other codes who often run late and don't give us any lead-up time. And I think that I see John nodding there. I'm right, aren't I, John? Yeah. So look, whether you're an owner, a trainer, a breeder, a person involved in governance in the sport, or a pen pusher, we need to be steering our boat in the same direction. And today was a very positive day. Not only do we need to be steering in the same direction, but we need to be steering it in the right direction, and I think we're on the right track. That track often changes depending, it's just like a boat, the wind change and you've got to change track, and I think we're doing pretty well. At Christchurch, we do run a hell of a lot of meetings, and I've got to acknowledge my staff, the contractors, the owners, the trainers that make the meetings possible. It just feels like we've just started this new season and we're already at Christchurch. We run 30 race meetings. It's just amazing what all these clubs do, and we run very leanly and meanly. And I've often sort of said to some people at Riccarton, I said, "Shit, you guys have got more people behind your starting gates loading horses than it takes to run our whole race meeting." And you need to sort of think about that. And so, I think we're doing a good job. We can always improve. Maro, leanly and meanly. You need to be less mean with the clubs, mate. As I say, I acknowledge the staff that we've got. And just finally, in closing, we've got to remember the most important person that we've got in this industry. And they make things happen. We've got to look after them. We've got to nurture them, whether they're big or small. And that's the punter. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the New Zealand Greyhound of the Year is Big Time Paddy.
Big Time Paddy off the top. Into the race comes a little Borg. Up they come, Big Time Paddy. Christian Cyborg late. They get a Big Time Paddy. Christian.
This year, there are two inductees to the Hall of Fame, one greyhound and one person. Our first 2018 inductee is Thrilling Brat.
It is a special honour to have Brat's name added to the list of recipients for this award, but an honour, I believe, fitting to this little champ. Brat was truly a star on the track, Some of his victories were his still last turning for home, or when he ran around the outside fence for the entire 700 metres and still somehow managed to break the track record, is still mind-blowing to watch. Brat spent his latter years in retirement with Jenny Bartlett and his sister Thrilling Quest, making appearances to promote adoption and as a care dog visiting rest homes. On behalf of Gary and Linda and myself, we cannot thank Jenny enough for the love and devotion that she gave him during this time. Unfortunately, we lost Brat recently to illness, but he will forever be a champion. He wasn't just a brat, he was a beaut. Thank you.
Our second Hall of Fame inductee and the final presentation for the night is... Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Thane Green into the Greyhound Racing New Zealand Hall of Fame.
Thank you very much. Some of that's true, some of it's probably not. I'd like to thank everybody who was associated with this award. It's certainly an honour to join the group who are Nancy Cobain, Sam Fletcher, Gordon Kingston, and that other old fella Ray Adcock. While I'm talking about Ray, I'd just like to mention the fact that he wasn't there for the final of the Silver Collar this year over circumstances, and he entrusted the dog to come to our kennels, and I haven't had the opportunity public to say to Ray, thank you very much for that. We did help you a little bit, but 99% was you. Thank you. As was said, there was I did 25 years on the racing board. I had the opportunity to do 27, but got sacked twice. But that's just normal. And over those 25 years, there's certainly a lot of changes. I have to thank the clubs, because in those days the clubs voted for the person on the board, and they supported me very well. And we also got very good support from the rest of the codes and the Greyhound clubs. The probably two significant things come out of my time on the board. One is 25 years will never be replaced, because now you can only do 6. And as Glenda said, she's seen 3 chairmen of the Greyhound board. Well, I saw 6 chairmen of the racing board. But I'd like to say that Greyhound racing probably benefited from all those chairmen, mostly by the very first one that I operated with, and that was Jack Bennett. And the other occasion that stands out is that Jack came to me the night before a meeting when we normally had a couple of glasses of water, and he said that I intend to go to the meeting tomorrow and suggest to the board that Greyhounds get some of their on-course licences changed to full tote. I can tell you that the next day, he did say, I want you to support it. And I said, obviously I will. The next day, the board met, and by the end of the day, we had no on-course licences at all. They were all totalisator licences. And Jack Bennett should get the benefit for that, for helping Greyhound racing. Thank you very much for this award.
Thank you